What's going on, guys? We got the first game of the Black and White 3 Cup Finals. It is a round robin between the two players on the screen, Sweet Posho, or just Posho, and SoulWind, and sugarhigh, but we'll get to him later. Let's get into this battle. We've got SoulWind packing three Keldeo counters, and Posho without a Keldeo. But, those are three great Pokemon regardless, so. Um, Posho is running some rain that looks a lot like Iconic's team from Black and White 1, but with the Landorus Therian instead of Landorus Incarnate. So stop PMing me on Discord, whoever the fuck that is. So I think that the problem is going to be like with most rain versus sand Jellicent matchups is that it's going to be incredibly hard to spin. We're going to assume someone has Scarf Mienshao because it fits the fast revenge killer role there handling Volk and all that shit. Even though a Sand team with Jellison really shouldn't be struggling with Volk, if you don't play like an idiot. But Mienshao there to really shut it down. So Keldeo, Volk, big black and white strategies shut down right there. So Amoonguss comes in on Hypnosis, and Hypnosis is one way to make a shitty Pokemon in Politoed a bit less shitty if you can land, of course. Some people use Wide Lens because it also boosts Hydro Pump. Probably not a good idea to use Blizzard though. Anyway, uh, Amoonguss can run Sleep Talk very well. I love it. I mean, some people don't like giving up a hidden power or stun spore. I just let my team handle whatever hidden power you would use because I love sleep talking stun spore. It's so nice. And just being able to absorb sleep. Amoonguss switches into every black and white sleep user. It's great. So he can throw one out here and get his own sleep off. And if he's running Sleep Talk Stun Spore then and hits Tornadus, then he's in for some shit. Tornadus is one of the most explosive black and white Pokemon, and if there's any poke that can help overcome this ridiculously rough matchup, then it's him. Because depending on his set, he can breeze through Scarm, and T-Tar won't want to switch in. It's Jellison on top of that doesn't love Hurricane. Really, Jellison is like the worst poke for these kinds of teams. It's once those hazards go up, then it's just going to be really, really hard to break through. Of course, if this is Iconic's team after all, then that's a Wish Calm Mind Rachi. Now, I'm not sure if he kept that because Wish Calm Mind Rachi hasn't been seen in a really long time. But regardless, a Calm Mind Jirachi would probably do quite well at if it can stay healthy, so it doesn't get picked off by Mienshao. And T-Char's going to get worn down ideally. That's the plan. Because Rocks and Spikes from Ferrothorn will hamper 4 of SoulWind 6 Pokemon. And Scarm is kind of a problem though. So it comes in as Posho lays those hazards. So there's no way to get him and keep Scarm from starting to do its own shit. So the thing with Starmie is it's going to get in, and then you got a bunch of because Moongus can pivot in, so that makes nailing Jellison on the switch even harder. And then he's got Mienshao to U-turn out and keep pressure on that way with hazards, so it can get messy. However, if Posho does not wait too late and plays aggressively with a Starmie, and their supporting cast, perhaps by double switching to Tornadus, ideally in a world before the spikes go down, then he can make some magic happen. The key is to not let the Sand team get comfortable, and that's really hard because I cannot stress enough. This matchup is not good for Posho. This is as close to an auto win as you get. So, I forgot to play the music. Well, it's okay because he hasn't switched yet. So, and there he goes again. Anyway, so what he should do here is Actually, no, he has a couple options. Posho. As for SoulWind, these Politoads are often choice. So, and if Posho stays in here, he's not using Hydro Pump, so I think this is a good time to switch to Tyranitar and cut the weather off, because you also choke the rain team by just switching Taran over and over and over and disrupting the rain. Force the shitty Toad in again and again, and you get your hazards, and you're just cruising before too long. So, rain can be unreliable, but we can see if the if Posho can overcome this advantage. I mean, he's played great to get here so far. He played fakes in the semifinals and had two great performances. So in matchups that I don't think really favored him either. Now, black and white is not all matchup. Like, it is almost entirely in the playing. Of course, that's not to say you can bring a retarded, horrible team and win consistently, but the fact of the matter is every game is going to have someone with an advantage or disadvantage. Now, I don't believe that means the guy with the advantage should always win, and if he doesn't, then he's a horrible choker. But it is something to be considered. Like here, there's no denying someone has a ridiculous advantage. Have I mentioned that SoulWind is a little bit favored here? So Posho can either go to Tornadoes, so the Sleep Talk Spore hits what I assume is a Sleep Absorber because people like to run spec Sleep Talk Tornadoes because it's kind of good, and it's not like it has so many great options that you're losing out on a lot. Like every time I run Sleep Talk Latios, I'm like, man, I really wish I could get an extra coverage movement or trick. God, there's literally no good switch for trick spec Latios because if it just decides to trick off the bat, it's crippled something. So, yeah. Let me see. He can go to Pharaoh if he doesn't believe that. I think he's got to play aggressive enough to. I assume the T-Tar is choppable, so it would just stay and set up rocks on Torn. So it almost makes me wonder if he wants to go to Lando or something to scare the T-Tar out. The problem is Toad, like it's slept Amoongus, so that's good, but Amoongus isn't really a roadblock to any of Posho's pokes in particular. Because I mean, you could swap the Amoongus out for hell, you could have Solwyn play with his other 5 Pokemon, and I think he'd be fine. It's really the Jellicent that's really crippling his plan here. Although obviously an Amoongus doesn't help. And if he Sleep Talks a Stun Spore, then that's that. So more time to talk about the matchup. So he could go Lando, which I don't think is an unreasonable move. Oh, there's also the fact that Scarf Manchow outruns literally everything and is threatening. So I didn't even get to that. So honestly, I would be really surprised to see someone not win this. I mean, a player of his caliber with an advantage of this magnitude. All right, it seems we're back. So it's winnable for sure. I think Jirachi, he needs to play really well and to keep his Pokemon really well preserved. And to preserve his Pokemon, he needs to not give Solwyn any breathing room whatsoever with Skarmory and Tyranitar, frankly. And this is as assuming it's a he actually went to Lando. Oh my god. Well, he really knows what he's doing. Wow, that's a great move from Posho. And the music begins. Wow, that's a great. Oh, it's Swords Dance. It's not even Scarf on rocks. Okay, now this is a ball game. So, Skarm, if it's SD Fighting Gem, then Skarm's going to get the stuffing knocked out of it. He does have Latios to pressure as well, but there's one thing for sure, and that is that Tyranitar is not staying in here. So, he goes Latios? No, he goes Skarmory, and he gets Stone Edge on the switch. I was assuming it's SD Superpower HP Ice because that's a pretty trendy, as much as I hate myself for saying that, because Finchinator says that shit, set right now because it lures at Skarm and pummels it. And Latios is a pretty safe switch to that, but Stolen goes to Skarm and gets away and does not kill because the Mienshao is Scarf, and Posho reads that beautifully and rock polishes up. I love Double Dance Lando. I think it's amazing and underrated. And we could be in some trouble here as Skarm comes back in on EQ, but he's really just forcing him to hit the Stone Edge here, I assume. And because Latios barely lives, I think Latios lives +2. Lando, let's just give it the double booster. Oh wow, no, it dies. People have been using Jolly, which would give it that, but wow, he's in some shit. It's going to be the game of hitting Stone Edge. Maybe he goes back to, he tries to draw another Earthquake. He needs to sack something here though, and then switch Skarmory back to it. But even then, as we saw, it's Stone at 58, so I would assume it'd be a roll. Of course, SoulWind has the counts, but that's another method he can try. And of course, Posho does need to uh, hit Stone Edges, which is, a big if. But and if he doesn't hit him, then he's at least going to get a kill, assuming SoulWind does not just leave the Scarman to die, and then hope that Latios dodges, or that he's running Jolly and doesn't get the roll. Let's assume it's standard. Let's assume Spadef Scarm versus. Okay, that's Jolly, so it could be Jolly. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say. Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, Falcon versus zero HP tar. That's a lot of tars because they run Lonely and Spadef investment instead of. So if it's Adamant, then versus Lonely, then it puts into Custap. If it's Jolly, it usually does. Here comes Jellicent, which can live a +2 EQ, and it does barely, but Jellicent and Tar were two things that were majorly in the way. So the surprise double dance Lando has really punched a hole. Of course, he's not out of the woods yet, considering this Mienshao is an enormous threat on its own. Look at Regenerated. Look how great Mienshao is. I can't believe people don't use the shit out of this Pokemon more. Anyway, he's got a pretty free Ice Beam here. No, he just Scalds. I was not a fan of that. Maybe he's not Ice Beam. Which, fair. Sometimes it feels like Ice Beam is just a wasted slot on Toad. And he's just going to Latios. Pharaoh's in, though, and he's going to get some hazards. So that's cool. Posho says he has 3 moves on Pharaoh, which sucks. Anyway, getting back to the game. Jellicent does barely live a +2 Earthquake and Bold, which I should have mentioned earlier, but actually I'm pretty sure it could be a roll, depending. Wow, actually, I forget how great Jellicent is. So yeah, you can see that. And here comes Leech Seed, here comes Torn on high jump kick. Nice. SoulWind was checking for Protect Pharaoh, which would ruin a Scarf Mienshao. And here comes U-turn on Roost, and now Starmie is in to terrorize him. He Ice Beams, that was odd. I mean, at least spin. Get rid of the rocks. Christ, you have a Torn. So here comes Scarm. If this is a Wish Calm Mind or a Sub Calm Mind, actually, Calm Mind Jirachi almost single-handedly wins. Like, Latios has to come in here, but it's risking Thunder Para just to chase it out into a poke that, and, he's got a... I mean, I can see the SoulWind switch to Mienshao here from miles away. Yep, there it is. Here's Pharaoh. High Jump Kick won't kill Pharaoh. And he's going to sacrifice it to take it out. He doesn't even have Gyro Ball. But, okay, well, if he attacks now, he dies, so fair enough. And he lays a spike. Nice work from Posho there. If it's Taunt Scarm, then this Pharaoh, well, I mean, it's not losing health, is the thing. Matter of fact, I'd stay in and Power Whip, because Starmie has Spin, and it can get rid of those hazards whenever. Actually, I think that might be Spec Starmie. That was what it was on the original Iconic team, I was thinking. I don't know if Posho got his inspiration there, but it didn't show an item, and it did 41 to Skarmory. So, yeah, and it's a high roll too. Unless, just, yeah, so let's assume Specs. Oh, yeah, that is definitely Specs. Unfortunately, Showdown lagged a little bit there, but what happened was Posho switched to Starmie after the taunt, and SoulWind went to Latios, and the Latios just fucking dropped. I think you sack Politoed here 1000%. Yep. So here comes Mungus. So that explains why he didn't spin versus Scarm earlier, I guess. But I still think spinning was better there. So no, yeah, I don't know why he didn't use that earlier, but not a huge deal. Mungus wakes up, Spores. Honestly, there's not much he can do here. at this point. Mancha, I don't know why he just went to Torn like that. I didn't see a reason to not just sack the Toad, um, and just assure that Torn came in afterwards. But he's got Minchao's healing up now, and it's still a threat. But the thing is that Jirachi is also a threat, and it sets up 4-3 on Amoonguss. Honestly, he should have just kept in Toad, and if Amoonguss stays in, so be it. There's your sub, there's your, kill on, or at least whirl, you do a shitload to Scarm, and, Tailwind, oh, okay, that works. So he was gonna go to that and just, like, Starmie the shit out of him, so that works too. Of course, Spliff Scarm is going to shrug off Torn, although it can be uncomfortable taking Sharp Beak Hurricanes when confusion's involved. Yeah, as you can see. Um, and he can just set up, what's it called? Um, fucking Tailwind whenever, he can set it up once more later. And Posho does have a spin in him. He's gonna sack, I assume, just spin, because the Scarm is taunt, so it can't even punish it with Brave Bird. And he will out PP him. So, and I think if he goes to Mienshao if Posho starts spinning and someone starts spiking, then Thunder. Okay, well okay. So that pretty much guaranteed a KO either way. I mean, Scarm had Sturdy, but it was just going to whirlwind out. Actually, whirlwinding out to Pharaoh would have been bad because then he roosts and he can actually get in some trouble. I mean, I still think Jirachi was winning this game, but that worked out. I guess he wanted to. He was also expecting to spin, and I mean, kind of a desperation move either way. He was also expecting spin, and actually no, that doesn't kill. It's analytic Starmie. Um, so and SoulWind Giga Drains Pharaoh. Of course, if Posho has 3 moves, he's already revealed them, so Moongus is just going to get... Well, he has sub on Jirachi, which is what I was mentioning earlier. So... 2 layers of spikes really sucks. Okay, now he goes Torn and gets Giga Drain, but that's a good move because Jirachi now gets its sub. But the thing is, I think he has to Thunder right away because then he's just going to sub on Scarm. And yeah, wow, Posho was playing like a beast. But it might not even 2 a KO. Wow, that is Spliff Scarm alright, but no, it's a roll. It's a crit. But there was so much variance in that, I don't know how much you can call on that. Yeah, but that was a great call using Thunder from him right away. Really nice. And Stun Sport isn't guaranteed, so even if he didn't go to Amoonguss, even if he stayed in with Amoonguss, then he could have just been gaining leftovers. So really nice move, very well thought through. I jump kick in and get his last move is Side Shock. That's not something you see all the time, but very impressive win from Posho here. The surprise double dance Lando just really just gorgeous execution from what was on paper a horrible matchup. I was assuming a Scarf Lando, but I guess Scarf Lando, Scarf Toad would be really, really bad. And wow, very nicely done. So, we're moving on to game 2. Alright, we're back. So, this is a team Posho's been using throughout much of Cup. I'm personally a very big fan. I think I don't always love Alomomola if you don't have some seriously good methods of dealing with spikes. But Posho's team is pretty well at it. Depending on his extra drill set, really, but if it's Spadef, which I think is amazing, or Scarf, which is, broken sometimes, then yeah, someone's using a pretty effective rain offense team. I can dig it. It's he's using his sub Thunderous, sub 3 attacks, amazing set. It's like Thunderous on paper when Black and White 2 came out, it was like, holy shit, look at this fucking thing. It's almost as strong as Kyogre. But its speed really lets it down and lets too many things fuck with it, like Keldeo, Garchomp, Latios. But you set up a sub on that switch instead of having to predict around and get revenge killed and shit. And it's really, really nasty. I speak firsthand. Yeah, so it could definitely do a number on SoulWind's team, Thunderous leading off, and staring down T-Tar. Don't think SoulWind's going to chance this encounter, and in comes Keldeo. On as Posho goes to Amoonguss for any focus blast action. Great start. Latios going to come in to absorb the sleep. Honestly, sometimes I think when Latios is such a clear sleep absorb, it's almost better to stun spore it. Like, because when you spore it and it sleep talks, it can actually fuck you up, like, regardless of your move. And stun spore, it's just crippled. So, switch to Mola there because it's specs, and I assume he planned on soaking up any move and regenerating out. And here comes my favorite move, Skull, getting the burn on the first try. I forgot to play the music again. Anyway, not sure I'm loving that Tyranitar switch. There goes Chople, so that opens up Thundurus. And he goes to Politoed. Getting the rain up. Fire blasting, aiming for the Excadrill, not a great move. Rock's priority. Actually, Thundurus on Mola, SoulWind's looking dangerous. Well, Exca's in, and there's the sub that I was talking about. But if it doesn't appear to have leftovers, so not Spadef. And Scarf would just, rock slide and get killed. So, yeah, that's not looking good. I was not loving. I mean, the idea was obviously burn Pharaoh, so then you spin later. But it is Scarf Exca, so Reuniclus into Thundurus, really? Like, that's not a great move. But yeah, he's that knockoff really is going to make worries for him. See, he just pops off Thunder. That is so fucking strong. He's got Para and it's Life Orb Reuniclus. Unfortunately, it's not quite enough. He's gonna go. Oh, I thought he was gonna go Lando because he couldn't sub and he was forced to Thunder again. But there's a miss. He's gonna HP Ice on the Scarf. Well, no, it's not Scarf Lando. He just go. Well, he could HP Ice on the Mungus. It's not Scarf Lando because Scarf X. So, but nice pivoting from Posho. Thundurus is weakened, so he did the best with what he had. So, Hidden Power Ice bouncing off. Fortunately, he's going to deal with a lot of hazards now. Or he could even deal with an Excadrill, and he gets Giga Drained. Well, that helps a little. He's continuing to... I'm not sure what that Thundurus switch was. He was just making 100% sure that he would get Farrowin for some spikes. Of course, Reuniclus will recover here. No, he's going to go to Lando. What's he going to do? Set up a sub? Be sub-gravity? Gravity plus Scarf Excadrill is pretty dirty. Here comes Keldeo, which can live anyone hit. No, that's his rocker. Of course, if this is Specs Keldeo, no, he's sacking it. Nice move. I expect it to be Scarf Keldeo because it's just a stupidly good cleaner. And some sort of Politoed set that makes it as unbad as it can be in certain matchups, like against defensive Sand teams. But he was not chancing any Specs shit. And the Specs Keldeo and Rain, oh man, it's so stupid. And he gets knockoff is delightful. I've made Rain offenses like the one SoulWind's using, and it is low-key so good. Anyway, gets a second layer of spikes. That's not going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back, because 2 layers of spikes is seriously not that great. But the lack of lefties could be his undoing when dealing with Keldeo late game, and here comes Sleep Talk. That's not fun. And Dragon Pulse, another favorite move of mine, because it makes for good Sleep Talks. And he Sleep Talks Draco, and down goes Mola. He's going to get pursued, but honestly, Excadrill plus Hazards is looking really hard to beat. And there goes that, knowing there was no sense in switching, but because even a Helmet Lando at this stage of the game, he's going, actually, no, it's not that bad, because he could try to solo with Amoonguss, because Amoonguss beats the other 3. Yeah, actually, it's not as bad as I thought. Of course, the helmet does hurt. Oh, he's just gonna throw away Excadrill? Rocks. Oh, he's keeping rocks up. Great move. And this will kill Thundurus. This keeps Thunderous dead. I'm not sure I love that, man. Well, actually, Thunderous is so weak that Amoonguss is going to handle it anyway, and he gets a Spore up with Amoonguss. Of course, that is HP Ice Keldeo, but it's Scarf, so it's not doing a lot. Specs HP Ice is not really a thing. That still does so much, but he gets a Giga Drain off here, and he either gets a ton of health back from Politoed or Keldeo, or he kills Thunderous, and then the game is super over. So it's a switch to Politoed. I guess what he's doing is he's going to try to win with Psychic / Ice Beam Politoed. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Brings the sand back up. No, he's really just regenerating. But if it's Specs Toad, then this game is over. So, actually, even Scarf Toad, I think, would be enough to finish this. So we're going to game 3. Intense one. I think very nicely played by SoulWind. Probably could have been danced around a little better by Posho. I guess the Sub Thunderous, if you're not expecting it, it will just kill you. So, I'm not sure how I feel about just letting... Actually, no. What if he just straight up set out a Giga Drain to Keldeo? No, that wouldn't have done enough. He would have been in trouble regardless. I'm thinking about what would happen if he kept setting up rocks. Then... I guess he was afraid of Iron Head, and then the Iron Head would finish off... Well, it was going to be a tough spot anyway. I think SoulWind would have won regardless, but that was a tough one. Well, because it was... Exco was at, what, 33? Alright, well, game 5. I don't know why Posho is using this. Well, we're seeing 2 classics right now. Let's change the music real quick. You're gonna have to excuse my extremely ghetto way of choosing music with this new recording method, but yeah, apologies. But pause, motherfucker. And okay, we're good. So SoulWind is using an edited version of Heist's old team. I used to love throwing Amoonguss over Breloom on it, and I guess SoulWind was like, yeah, that's a good idea. So he's facing a weatherless offense team with Gothitelle. Interesting. Also, just for the last game, is if he keeps Exca died to 2 more helmet things. Lando versus Dragonite, not a good lead matchup for Posho because he can just U-turn to Heatran really freely here. He does, and gets Draco'd for nothing. Okay, well, I don't want to say this game's over, but it's certainly not looking good from the start because he really can't afford to make mistakes against this kind of team. I guess he was go up thinking defensive Lando, but not even like that's what Expert Belt or something, or Lumberry actually. I would assume, but. I'm pretty sure you got a Life Orb, your Mixed Knight, man. It's so weak otherwise. Also, I just realized it didn't make a difference whether he kept up rocks or not, because he was just going to sack Thunderous anyway and do the same exact thing. And win the same exact way, because Amoonguss was too weak. Actually, no. We'll discuss it after this game. I don't know what the fuck this series of switches is. But, he switched to Gothitelle on Tran. Oh, wait, no, he went to Keldeo on Rocks, then Goth on Amoonguss. And he is just getting destroyed here. We can clearly see what the aim here was, but it did not work out, and I don't think Jirachi was anywhere near much enough of a threat for someone to be scared of one attack from Keldeo. So here comes Tarak. Here comes Amoonguss to soak up, not a Banded Stone, just Life Orb. That is bulky. So he's going to Slumberry Dragonite. I mean, he can do damage, but no, it's not even. What the fuck is it? It can't be Specs. That did nothing. So this is the worst Dragonite ever. What? It's really... Oh, that sucks. That sucks. That's really lame. I can't believe it Specs, though. I did so little. What's he gonna do? Sleep Talk Specs Focus? Oh. Okay, so it's actually not... It's Mix Sleep Talk. And it's slow, too, so he's gonna get outrun. Well, God, these chips are great. Well, back to Amoonguss, who's at full health, and this is not even a game. Okay, well, that made for an interesting battle. Okay, let me, at least this gives me more time to think about the Thunderous thing. So, Excadrill died to 2 more Rocky Helmets after the first spin on rocks. So Iron Head twice would kill Lando and keep rocks up. But yeah, and then Keldeo comes in, HP Ices Amoonguss, and Amoonguss Spores and Giga Drain, Sack Thunder. So it's the exact same thing. As a matter of fact, it's even better because he doesn't get rocks. He doesn't get Giga Drain healing from hitting with Thunderous. So yeah, that didn't. So someone is the winner of this first series. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. This part at least. I will hopefully get to cover the other games of the series. And yeah, I'll catch you next time.